Well, welcome and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Jain Irrigation Training Series. I'm Richard Restuccia, Vice President of Water Management Solutions for Jain. And today we're going to be talking about 5 key steps for programming smart controllers. Now, I think that a lot of people find that they shy away maybe from smart controllers because they think the programming's difficult, or they're not sure how to do it, or let's just face it, the word programming does sound complicated and not that simple. But today, I think what we're going to do is we're definitely going to break this down so that you come away from this training knowing that it's not complicated, that it's somewhat simple. And if you have a good understanding of your landscape, which you should if you're managing water on your landscape, whether you're a property manager or a landscaper, a landscape contractor, you should have some basic knowledge about your landscape and your plants. And that's all it really takes to do this. So we're really fortunate today because Danny Martinez, who does technical sales and training for ET Water, which is a Jain irrigation company, is going to be stepping us through this. And I say we're lucky because Daniel's got over 17 years experience in the irrigation industry. I've known him for a few years now. I knew of his reputation before I met him, and he's got a really strong reputation for dealing with smart controllers and technology. But really, if you look at his 17-year career, what you find is that he's got in-depth knowledge of all aspects of irrigation. And then the thing I really appreciate about him is he spends a lot of time training other people in the industry how to be more efficient and better at their jobs when it comes to water management. What this world needs definitely, and what the irrigation contracting business needs, is more Danny Martinez. So Danny, thank you for joining us. And how are you doing today?
Doing great, Richard. Working on cloning myself, so hopefully we can get a few more of me out there.
Well, when you figure that out, we'll be in great shape. So thank you.
Yeah.
Listen, you heard what I said there. I think a lot of people do think programming these controllers is complicated. It might be the reason why they stay away from it. I hear some contractors saying, we just don't have a guy on staff that can do this. What do you say about that?
Well, Richard, Jain Unity, our new platform here, is very simple. We break it down and make it easy for any user at any level to be able to go in there, program the controllers, and manage it, whether it be a small one-off site or a large HOA or commercial property with multiple units out there.
Yeah, so that's what's exciting about this, because what you're going to do today is really just take us through the steps, right? And show us how simple this is.
Absolutely. We're going to break it down in as simple form as we can here.
Okay, well, listen, we're excited. Let's go ahead and get started.
Right on.
And for those of you who have questions or comments, I will have both the chat and the Q&A boxes open. So if you have some questions for Danny or for me, just put them in there and we will answer them at the appropriate time. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Richard. So we're just going to cover basic smart controller configuration, how to set up a station, how to adjust your schedule, and how to set up a new controller. So as you see on the screen here, we have our smart box controller. This is our standalone unit, as well as our hermit crab. The beauty of our system here is that regardless of which system you're using, they can all be accessed through one central portal on our Jain's Unity website. So here's our website if you guys need to log into it. So jainsunity.com will take you to your login for your dashboard to manage all your sites. Pretty simple, straightforward. One thing you'll notice on all our screens is this open chat feature, real nice feature. We'll touch more on a little later, but we got our customer service team ready to help you at any time during standard Pacific time hours, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Click on there anytime, and our lovely staff will help you out and walk you through any of these steps or any other troubleshooting with your controllers.
Yeah, I just want to say, Danny, I've been watching the chats, right? I get copied on these, and I'm really impressed in how fast our customer service team is able to respond to these chats. It's virtually real time, and I really appreciate it, the work that that's going into that from our customer service team, as well as customers using that chat. It's great for everybody.
Absolutely, Rich. We got a great team out there, very responsive. I think the longest I've ever had to wait was about 30 seconds for a response from our team. So we'll just go through here. One thing that you can also notice up here on the top, this is Unity Mobile. So not only can you log in through our dashboard, you can also use our Unity mobile app to log in and adjust or program your controllers, also run through and do wet checks. That can be accessed through here or by logging on to m.jainsunity.com. But we'll get started. So a first-time user, you might need to sign up. Once you're signed up, you just use your email and password to log in, but we'll go through the sign-up process for a new user here. All you need is a couple basic data information, phone number, name, email, address for the site, create your own password, and serial number from your controller. So when you receive a new unit from us, on the outside of the box is a label with the model number of the controller and the serial number. That serial number is what all you really need to set up your controller online and set your controller up before you even install it on the wall.
So here's a couple things that I learned when I first set up my controller that were kind of surprising to me. Number one, if I'm correct, I don't need to call customer service or talk to somebody on the phone to actually set up my controller. Is that right?
Correct. All you need is that serial number from your controller, and give us a little bit of information here, and you're on your way.
Yeah, and then so I thought that was great, right? Because a lot of times I'm working early in the morning before a customer service person is there, on the weekend at night. So this was really freeing to my time to be able to do this at any time I wanted. And then the other thing that I was surprised at is how easy it was to get a serial number, right? I think about maybe using my computer and trying to read the thing on the bottom and needing a magnifying glass. It was always hard. I think there's a button I can just press on the controller and it displays the serial number. Is that right?
Correct. If you have a Hermit Crab unit, it's displayed as soon as you power it up, and it's always on the screen. If you have a smart box or a SmartWorks panel, all you do is push enter, serial number pops right up.
Yeah, I found that to be really easy and refreshing. As you can tell, maybe sometimes I have trouble locating things.
No problem. We'll take care of you. So once you get this information, go ahead and click on sign up, and that takes you to this page here, which is called our dashboard. So whether you have one controller, one site, or 50 sites with literally hundreds of controllers, this page gives you a quick glance overview of everything that's going on with all your controllers. Your sites are all listed here on the top left. This one here, we'll use a demo account for E2 Water that's accessible to new customers. If you want to give a system a test drive, see how easy it really is to program a new controller, give us a call and we'll give you access to one of these demo units where you can run through all these features yourself and get comfortable with them.
Two questions here. One, so if I was a contractor, down the left-hand side of this screen where it says demo account, if I had ABC HOA and Sierra Madre HOA, it lists out all my jobs. Is that correct? And then the number and the controllers below each of the jobs.
Correct. All you do is click on one of your sites, and then all your controllers will drop down with the controller name and also the number of stations configured.
Yeah. Okay, great. And then we've got somebody who's asking, why are there so many open circuits on this account?
Oh, great question. Actually, this is a demo account. So it's a live controller sitting in our Novato office, but there's no physical valves attached to it. Normally, the case would be if somebody had a station out there where a wire was disconnected from a station valve, or it could be they disconnected a valve and didn't adjust their programming in the controller. It quickly notifies you that, hey, you got valves out there, probably aren't going to be watering.
Wow. So if I have any of these issues, a failure, a short, an open circuit, it's going to show right there.
Yes, definitely. Not only that, we have suspended controllers. So if you have a controller that's off, whether somebody programmed the controller off for construction, or if it's suspended because we have rainfall in the forecast and your controller's automatically suspended to capture and harness that rain, it'll list the number of controllers on there. Your missed connections also listed here. So if a controller is not dialing in every day to our servers before it's scheduled watering time, you'll know here. Missed connections could be because the controller's been powered off, or maybe it's been removed, or as some of our enterprise accounts find out, sometimes cars go off the highways and just wipe these controllers out. Never fun
True
for
story.
them,
It's
but they
happened,
know,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah. So
Uh,
we have a question, Danny. I know you speak Spanish. I've seen your training in Spanish, but we have somebody asking about our customer care team. Are they bilingual? Do they speak Spanish?
yes, absolutely. So we got a couple staff that speak Spanish. I know we also can, we have a Portuguese and English. Um, so
Yeah.
we got a couple there covered. If not, I know we have other staff within the organization that speak other languages also. We'll be able to help them out with.
Right. So, okay. So yeah, if you have a Spanish speaking team out there and need customer care, we get you covered.
Correct. We'll take care of you. Next thing is our station groups. One of our advanced features that really makes adjusting multiple stations very quick and easy. We'll cover that on a next issue here. But also, again, here, open chat. If you're not sure where you're looking at, where you're trying to find, go ahead and click on open chat. We'll get a pop-up there and help you out. We also have this little question mark, which will bring up a help menu, help you understand what all these features mean on any page. And then this little notification box. So one thing our system does do is it has two-way communication, right? We got cell phone modems in there. Not only are we able to go send a watering command or connect command to controllers report back what's going out in the field. If the controller notices a valve issue, failure, flow problem, you'll get it in this little notification box. Click on there, system will tell you exactly what happened and when it occurred. And then you can log into your account here, change password, update email or phone number on there in case we need to send any correspondence your way. One of the nice features here is our activity over the last 7 days. So if your system's tied to a flow sensor, we can let you know if it's a high flow, low flow, or unscheduled flow, meaning if there's a broken sprinkler, the system's going to send you a high flow alert. Maybe you had a broken pipe, same thing, is going to send you a high flow alert. A low flow alert could be maybe a valve didn't open up all the way, or could be nozzles got clogged. Maybe the valve failed hydraulically completely, so you would know, hey, I got a station that's out there not running the normal learned flow of the system. And then an unscheduled flow. If the system sees water flow through that flow sensor when it's not issuing a watering command, the system will alert you. Possible mainline break, and something that'd be a lot more urgent for you to get out there and address the issue.
So does it just alert you or does it turn things off too?
So depending on how your configuration is, if your system is tied to a master valve, there's two options. They're normally closed or normally open master valve. Our system can handle both. On a the closed master valve, the system should be off anytime. Your water pressure should be off anytime this controller is not issuing a watering command. On a normally closed situation, your water line is always pressurized. If the system senses unscheduled flow, it will activate that valve and shut down the water supply automatically.
Yeah, that's great to hear, right? Everybody has anybody who's been in the industry for a little while has the story of the broken pipe near the sewer drain and the $30,000 water bill.
Correct. We've seen it happen for a couple times. Other thing here, controller valve issues. If you have a failure, if our controller has a bad component inside, maybe a base module or a triac board, could be a bad modem in there. Doesn't happen too often, but we alert you, hey, there's a problem with your hardware. Let's get out there, take a look at it, as well as valve shorts. Our systems have diagnostics that in place that tests each valve circuit before it waters and lets you know if something is wrong electronically. So with flow sensing, you're covered hydraulically. With electronic diagnostics, you're covered electrically.
So we're talking about programming today, and these are really nice features to have. Do I have to program the controller to do all this, or does it just do it for me?
You have to program the flow sensing capability. If you have a flow sensor out there, your valve shorts and failures are already pre-configured. You can change some parameters in there, but we'll cover that on another episode. Real simple process to change some of those thresholds.
Great, thanks.
And then also your rain sensor activity. Lastly here, if you want to tie in a fixed rain sensor to capture one of those infrequent rainstorms that maybe didn't hit a probability threshold, you can go ahead and mount that onto there. And if that sensor gets triggered, the system will alert you. Okay, so to continue, first thing you want to do if new system is you want to go ahead down here on the bottom left and add a new site, and that'll pop up this window here for you. And we just need a little bit of site information. The site name, this will be what's labeled on the top left here after you create the site. So usually the name of the property, the address of the location of the controllers or the site, city, state, zip code. And then also you can click locate. It'll bring up the property for you. If you're the billing contact for the information, go ahead and click here, sign a little agreement, and you're on your way with programming the controller. If you're not the billing contact, maybe you're setting this up for a property manager, click I'm not the person reporting, then you can plug in their information, name, email address, phone number, and that way any correspondence in the future will send to them.
You know, this is such an important feature. When I was at Valley Crest, our account managers managed anywhere from 10 to 30 properties. And just being able to see and just confirm, especially when we had a new account manager or somebody coming new to the properties, be able to show on a map that the property they were thinking they were working on water management wise remotely was actually that property. This was so helpful.
Absolutely, Richard. So then you just go ahead and add the site, and you'll see this one was already pre-configured, so we just left it alone, but your new site would pop up here. We're going to go ahead. You can see here, once you click on the site, your controllers drop down here. We're going to work on this new virtual controller number 2. See, we have no data here for stations. It was a brand new controller we're going to configure. Really quick, though, I do want to cover, this is your overview page. So whenever you need to call into our open chat or call in live operator at our customer care office, and you're trying to walk through here, you're highlighted in blue here. This is a page you're looking at. So if you're trying to get assistance with that, they may ask you what page are you looking at? Go ahead and look at here. You see this is highlight overview. You may be working on suspend feature, or you can turn stations off, block days, or you can tell the controller not to water, for instance, for a mow day. Just select the day you want off. A water window, tell the controller what time of day you want it, or preferably night, you want it to water. New to Jain Unity is a weather page. So your weather page gives you a lot of data, what's going into our ET calculation for your site, shows you where your weather cluster is, where we're pulling that data for your specific site. Forecasted rain, feature unique to ET Water. We can automatically suspend your controller up to 2 weeks in advance if there's rainfall in the forecast. Here's one of the features we touched on a little earlier for that flow sensing. You're able to get those flow sensing alerts. You must enable your flow sensor, let the system know what kind of flow sensor, the size of pipe diameter it's looking at, so it can calculate that signal from the flow sensor and convert that digital signal into gallons per minute. Moisture balance, new page. We'll touch this on one of our more advanced lessons here. This is a real unique feature. Gives you a virtual representation of the available plant water out in your landscape for each individual zone. Establishment schedule will allow you to put a unique schedule, allow you to water during the day, keep root zones wet while you have a new seed for turf or new plantings, maybe some seasonal color being put down. And then schedule configuration, we'll touch here in a little bit. This is how you adjust your schedule to create a watering schedule a little more comfortable for you, or maybe you have a unique condition out there where you need to change how frequently or the amount of water that is put down. And then lastly, our multi-valve setting. If you have a smart box controller, we can water up to 4 stations simultaneously. Of course, you would need to be able to have the available plant water pressure and volume of water to run that. So we'll just jump in real quick on how to add a new station. And we have actually 3 different methods that you can do. So anytime you want to add a new station, you see here we got no data. We'll click here on no, add new station. And this is what you're going to need. A couple information just to be able to program. One is your irrigation method. So we need to know how the water is being applied to the plant material, whether it's a sprinkler, drip emitter, a bubbler, or subsurface irrigation, which is a tubing with your built-in emitter, like our total CV from Jain. Your plant type, whether it be turf, shrubs, trees, succulents, and also you will need to know if it's turf, if it's a warm season turf or cool season turf, if they're shrubs, if they're native, non-native plants, or drought tolerant, as well as if they're evergreen or deciduous plants. Same thing with trees, if they're evergreen or deciduous. And succulents also has a couple subcategories, similar like native grass. Your slope also critical for watering schedule. The system it will create an automatic cycle and soak feature, especially if you have a steep landscape. Maybe you got a large hillside system. If you apply too much water at one time, you're going to get runoff. So we need to know how the inclination of that landscape zone. Your soil type also critical. It's going to help us with the cycle and soaks, as well as determining how fast that moisture is leaving the soil. So we have loam, clay, and sandy soil, and also a combination of clay loam and sandy loam for your sites. A couple more things. Sun exposure. If the station is under full sun all day, if it's partly shaded, maybe it's under shade 2 to 4 hours a day. We need to know that. Or if it's full shade, maybe it's under canopy or south side facing a property that gets shade all day long. And then lastly, not necessary for programming, but good reference is your current water schedule. That way, when our system generates its automatic schedule, you can do a comparison and see how many minutes you were putting down before and how many minutes the system wants to put based on a scientific calculation.
So Danny, why is all this information important? Why do I need this? What does that do for me?
So this is important, Richard, because the system needs all this data, which is really just 6 different parameters, so it can generate your calculated water schedule and use that information to water with ET.
So I guess depending on like if my root zone is down to 6 or 8 inches, the soil type, how much sun, the controller itself is just going to configure the schedule for me. I don't have to add anything other than that.
Correct. One of the great things is our system calculates how much water is optimal for your landscape versus some of our competitors where somebody has to guess how much water that plant actually, or how much plant they think it needs.
Yeah. So, right, because on some of these others, right, I've seen, right, I could program an hour a day every day, and they might adjust if it was 10% hotter or 10% cooler, they'd adjust my schedule by 10%. But if my schedule was wrong in the first place, I wouldn't really be saving any, much water, right?
Correct. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So that's
so
why I love the scientifically calculated schedule for you. It just eliminates that opportunity for the mistake.
Absolutely. A couple other things you'll need to know is your precipitation rate. So we have pre-programmed defaults, or you can have a measured amount of precip rate. If you have a water audit done at your site, you know exactly how fast that water is being put down. That's helpful information. That'll help you dial in the controller even better. The more accurate information you give the controller, the better the schedule is going to be. If you're running a drip emitter, you need to know the flow rate of those emitters and how many emitters you have per plant. If you're doing subsurface irrigation, you're going to need the flow rate out of the emitters out of that line, as well as emitter spacing in the line. So it could be 18, 24, 36 inches in between spacing, as well as your lateral row spacing. How many inches of spacing are between each lateral line, as well as your station name and location. And for that, we also have our Unity landscape checklist, which we can send to you to quickly fill out check marks for each station and allow you to go back to your office and program the controller instead of having to stand out in front of the hot sun one day or maybe even a rainy day to adjust for rain.
Yeah, or next to the highway where you could get injured. This is great. So if I just email you, you can send me this checklist.
Absolutely, Richard. And also very helpful, some of our contractors like to leave these inside the controller so they can reference while they're out in the field. So now we'll go through quick steps of actually adding a new station. Just click here on the right, add new station, and you get 3 options. So you can do a step-by-step programming, which is really good for first-time users who aren't very familiar. Landscape details, maybe need a little visual help. We have some images that can help the customer. So first, all you need to do is from the drop-down menu here, select the station you want to program, and then name the station. One of the things that's handy is we already give you the station number, so you would have named the station number 1. The ideal thing would be to give it a description or a location, so if other users go to the site, they're able to locate that zone. Oftentimes we go out and we do site service and there's no maps. So this makes it real handy for when you have multiple technicians or people coming to the site. They're able to locate it. And then you have your station description. It's a nice log where customers can plug in information in there. Maybe they have mixed zones and they want to have that data recorded in the system. This is just a little log for customers to be able to put any information they want to put in there. And so now we'll cover the step-by-step programming. So this here, you can see we got 6 steps to program controller. So first thing you need to know, your sprinkler application, your water application method, whether it's a sprinkler, a drip emitter, a bubbler, or subsurface irrigation. For this instance, we'll go ahead with the sprinkler. And then you also have the option, our system can turn a water pump on or off per zone. So zone that may be subsurface irrigation or drip emitters, you may want to suppress that pump and turn it off so it's not running high pressure on the system. You may have a large sprinkler rotor zone with several rotors, long run that needs a lot of pressure. You'd want to put no suppression, make sure that pump kicks on every time. Or you may have a site that's high elevations. Maybe you're going up a hill. Keep that pump running during that zone. Go ahead and click continue. And now we're going to ask, what kind of sprinkler do we have now? Maybe you have a spray head. Here's an image for you to help you out. A rotor, impacts, stream rotors, or MP rotators. So these are the standard sprinklers out there. We'll go ahead and go with the spray head for this zone. Next thing we need to know is what kind of plant material do you have out there? Whether it's lawn, flowers, shrubs, ground covers, trees, ornamental grasses. Maybe you have a nice garden out there planting some vegetables or your succulents out there. We'll continue with the lawn here. And next, we just need a little more information from that plant material. So for lawn, we're going to need to know, is it cool season or warm season turf? A cool season zone with like a fescue, something that's green year round. A warm season turf would be like a St. Augustine or a Bermuda that goes dormant in the winter. And then also the plant maturity. A newly planted zone is going to require you to put an establishment schedule. So you need to create a new schedule for that. If your landscape's already been in a while, you're going to go ahead and click established and go ahead and continue. Here's the next thing we covered was our slope. We need to know if that's nice and flat or it's a steep incline. This is going to really help the controller adjust your schedule if it needs to be cycle and soak. So one of the nice things is you can tell the controller what the slope is. For instance, if you had a very high slope, the system would cycle and soak it for you. So what that means is, say the station needs to water 30 minutes, but if it has runoff after 5 minutes, the system will automatically put down 5 minutes, wait maybe 15, 30 minutes, come back and cycle, put another 5 minutes down throughout the night and automatically create those cycles for you. So your slope type, very critical there also. If you're pretty close, that's okay. Step number 4 is our soil type, whether it's sandy loam, clay, a mixture of in between. You can go ahead in there. If you need help determining what kind of soil type you have, again, here our help menu on every page tells you how to determine what type of soil type you have. We'll go ahead with sandy loam. And then our shade factor, whether it's sunny all day, shade 2 to 4 hours a day, or shady all day. And then also our rain sensor configuration for the station. This is a nice feature. Say you have a station that's inside an atrium, inside a building, and the rain does not affect that station. Go ahead and click do not use rain sensor in that instance. So that way the station will still water even if there's rain in the forecast. We'll go ahead and continue here. And then now we have our precipitation rate. So what we have as our default is what most industry standard is. So depending on what type of sprinkler, if it's a spray head, you'll have about 1.5 inches out there for precip rate. If you have a rotor, it'll be a little slower, MP rotator even less. Those are about 0.39 inches. So this really helps controller create that. How long is it going to need to water out there?
So Danny, I noticed this demo controller is a 48 station controller, and these 6 steps, if I have to do them for all of them, right? When oftentimes my zone 1 is very similar to my zone 2 and similar to my zone 3, this is going to get very monotonous.
Correct, Richard. That's why we have a couple different methods of programming the station. So we'll click finish there. 6 steps. You can see now our turf zone 1 is represented here, along as with our forecasted watering schedule for the next 7 days. But we have 2 other options, each one going to be a little faster for you. We'll go through those now. But you can see here are our station. We'll let you know, hey, this station is running a fully automatic schedule with 100% interval frequency and 100% water budget. And we'll explain that here in a couple steps. But you can see what's scheduled to water for your schedule. This would be nice to compare to what your old watering schedule was. But Richard, to answer your question, we'll add a new station one more time. We're going to do station number 2, shrubs, East Ave Player Grounds, what we're going to call this one. And we're going to use our advanced setup. So we'll continue. And instead of going one step at a time with all the plants and material, all you do just go through this profile here from these drop-down menus. If you want to name the plant type, maybe you want to say it's succulents or zinnias or some boxwoods, go ahead and name that there. Select your irrigation method. A drop-down menu again here. If you want to suppress a pump or not, go ahead and select your plant material drop-down menu. You can see here we did shrubs this time, and then I'll ask if it's native or drought tolerant or non-native, and if it's deciduous or evergreen. Plant maturity for drip emitter, we're going to ask the flow rate of those emitters. Again, your root depth, you can change it if you want. If you maybe have a station where it's on top of decomposed granite, you only have 9 inches of soil, you know your roots aren't going that far, you can put in a custom root depth. Plant size is the diameter of your canopy for your plant. Maybe you have more than 1 emitter, 2 emitters per plant. Here's our slope, soil type, shade, and override for rain. Click finish, and you just program a second station. Is that a little better for you, Richard?
Yeah, it is. And I guess the other point you really make here that is helpful to me is there really is a lot that goes into how much water to give a plant. And I know very few water managers that are manually programming controllers that are changing these things on any regular basis. But this does step you through, and you have to do it once, or when you change the plants, of course, you'd have to do it again. But this is the basic. This is the baseline for your automated schedules. And it's important to go through it all. I can see that. But yeah, the second way made it a lot easier.
Correct. And then we got one more mode of programming your station, and this is real nice. You touched on it, Richard. Most landscapes are only going to have maybe 3, 5, 6 different landscape profiles for a station. You're going to have your turf zones, your plants, your trees, maybe some succulents out there. But this is our copy and paste feature. It really makes it quick and expedites the entire process. Select your station number again, name it, and then we're going to say, hey, this is turf. And if it's identical, your station 1, all you do is copy settings, select station 1 from your drop-down menu, hit continue, and now your station 3 is configured just like your station 1.
That's super fast. That's super helpful. I really like that.
Correct. And then one of the little advanced tips that I like to use is maybe your station 1 was turf, and the only difference with station 1 and station 3 is one is rotors and one is spray heads. So I like to copy the settings and then just go back and edit this station and change the sprinkler type. Makes it a lot quicker also if you have a second zone that's slightly different. So now we'll go ahead and cover our schedule adjustments. So this is our default 100% interval, 100% water budget. This is what our forecasted schedule wants to water for the next 7 days. Now, it's one key thing to remember when you're looking at this forecasted watering schedule is this is dynamic. If the weather changes, your watering days may change. You may have a forecasted rain suspension that's not in the forecast currently, or maybe the trigger hasn't been reached, and then it does. Then you'll see these water drops change to your days. It'll show us rainfall suspension, and then it'll delay rain after a suspension. So remember, this forecasted water scheduling, when you're allowing it to run on full ET, your days and frequency will change live. So it may change the days you need to water. But to adjust your schedules, you can click on a station here in the blue link here, or at the control level, you can click on a station here and it'll send you to that station. We'll check out station number 2, shrubs. And when you look at a station profile, you can see we have station summary. This is all this information here. It shows you the same station from our controller overview, same information, the frequency, once a water, twice a week right now. Next time it's scheduled to water, and how many minutes, the runtime is a total for the next 7 days. We give you your last 30 days plus your next 7-day forecasted days. So the nice thing about this is you want to know when that station watered, maybe last Thursday, last Friday. If it watered last Thursday, you'll see a little water drop icon similar to the one you see here. Click on that, it'll give you all the information on how long it watered for that day. You can also configure your station to confirm here if there's any changes. Like I said, mentioned earlier, if you want to change the sprinkler method, maybe you copy that station 1 to 3 and the sprinkler is different. You can click edit here and then just change the sprinkler method, or you can hit edit station on the top here and it'll send you to the same page. So if you scroll down on this page, we have what's called a schedule configuration. So since our system is dynamic and it's changing based on ET, and we know ET is changing daily, you can adjust how frequently it waters and the amount of water it puts down. So for interval adjustment, your top bar here currently wants to water 100% interval, which is 2 times a week for this zone. And that's based on this landscape profile, your root depth, soil type, and then also your water budget. So let's say we want to change it to 150%, right? If right now we're at 2 days a week, we want to go ahead, increase that 150%, click save, and you'll see now we went to 3 days a week. Go back up here, we see our station 2. Now we're going to water 3 days. We added an extra day in between.
So Danny, I'm not happy because I was happy when I learned that this is going to do a scientific schedule for me. And, a schedule based on the science, I really shouldn't have to adjust. So why would I have these adjustments? Why would I have to make an adjustment?
So one of the adjustments, a lot of times when customers go switch to a fully automatic schedule like this, something that's scientifically calculated, they learn that, hey, maybe I was overwatering way too much, but you need to wean your landscape off that heavy watering. So we allow the customers to change the interval. Maybe they're watering every day a week. Let's go every other day, decrease the water. But the amount of water, the controller's still gonna put down the optimal minutes for that landscape needs. We're just changing how frequently we're refilling that root zone.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That makes sense. Or, maybe if, every system that's designed perfectly doesn't get installed or maintained perfectly, or maybe not designed properly in the first place, I might have to make some adjustments because of that. Would that be reasons too?
Correct, Richard. One thing that I come across over my 17 years in landscape is every contractor takes over new sites, comes across some changes that weren't part of the original landscape design, or some maybe a previous contractor pulled some sprinklers out, moved them around, or changed the nozzles on a sprinkler and it's not watering properly.
Yeah.
So if you go to our schedule configuration page here, now this brings up all your stations for that controller. So if you need to adjust all your stations all at once, you can do this from one page. Maybe some stations like the station 1, maybe the precip rate's a little faster and you want to dial it down the minutes because it's not quite accurate. Or maybe you have a zone like zone 2, our shrubs, we increased it. Maybe they had a valve that failed close for a couple days and they need to put a little more water to get that landscape back to green up. They can come in here and increase your water budget to put a little more water down for a while. So it's simple to adjust your stations for one controller, all from one page. If you had 48 stations, they'd all be listed here.
Wow, that's really simple.
Not only simple, very convenient, right? We touched on not having to run a truck out to each site and look at each controller and adjust it. So while we took a little longer to do our initial station configuration and program the controller, all your future adjustments really get expedited here. Just a couple slide bars or clicks to adjust all your stations. So Richard, this is another login. This is actually my login here. You can see how many sites I have listed here, and there's more below, right? And you can see all the issues, all the failures, missed calls, communication. So this is literally probably over 30 sites, each site with 30 to 50, maybe some up to 100 controllers. How are you going to do your controller programming on all those literally possibly thousands of stations? Are you going to want to run that truck out there every time you need to adjust it? And not
No.
only that, how often are you going to do it? A lot of contractors, sometimes they only adjust their program seasonally, maybe 4 times a year. They'll go out there and shut the controllers off manually if it's raining. But the beauty of a smart controller system is it's adjusting daily. And that's where you're gonna get your optimal savings for water. Maybe it doesn't need one day in between watering, and it'll skip a day for you versus a fixed schedule. But if you need to adjust your water on hundreds or thousands of stations, you can see this is pretty spread out. I'm covering Southern California into Arizona. I don't really manage these sites, just help customers program them. But we do have a nice feature called station groups. And in station groups, you can do stuff like adjust your water budget over multiple stations. But you're going to have to tune in next time to learn how to do that.
So I'm excited about this, if I understand this correctly. So if I'm a contractor and I have 10 different HOAs that I'm managing, and over these 10 different HOAs in San Diego, each of them has multiple turf sites, I can change or make adjustments to all the turf sites, even though it's multiple HOAs just from one page.
Absolutely. You can put the stations, you can select the stations from different sites, from different controllers, and put them all into a group so you can manage them all at once. Couple
Yeah,
clicks.
that's incredible, right? I mean, what a time saver there. Because oftentimes, right, that's what I'm doing. I'm adjusting whole plant groups, and multiple sites. That's great.
Absolutely, Richard. And we'll go in depth into the station groups as well as other features on our system. But that's your basic controller programming. You program a station one time. Maybe the first time you do it takes about a minute per station. Then you start copying, takes you a couple seconds. But as always, we have our customer care team available to help you. Here's a phone number for our customer care. They can help you program, troubleshoot controllers, help you with your subscriptions. You can either call them, like we said, 7 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Email them. If you have a question, maybe it's not too pressing, you don't need a rapid response, send them an email or your live chat. We'll get you to them also.
Yeah. Well, Danny, great job today. This was really insightful. I love going through the steps. You remind me when we do this how easy it is. And the other thing is you did it in a way that I know you do this almost every day, but you didn't do it in a way that you did it in a way that made me feel like I could do it too, right? From the start. So you didn't use any tricks or anything, which I really appreciated. So I want to say thank you for doing a great job today on this. I want to say thank you to all the people who tuned in today. We really appreciate it. There's one last question about multi-valve watering. I believe you said, and check me if I'm correct, up to 4 stations we can do multi-valve watering at the same time. Is that right?
Correct. We can do up to 4 valves simultaneously. If you have a master valve, it'll bring you down to 3 station valves at a time also. If you're doing flow sensing, currently it is set up for just 1 station configuration. For flow sensing, we'll have 2 stations available soon.
Okay, great. Well, I hope we have you back here in a few weeks so we can go to the next steps. I'm excited about that. Again, thanks everybody for watching. And remember, we've got all our videos, all the episode's on the janesusa.com/trainings page. We also have Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, as well as iHeartRadio now. And our podcasts are getting super popular. So check those out as you're going about your day and listen to those. It's always very helpful. And again, if you've got any information you want us to cover in the future, please reach out to me or Danny and let us know, and we'll get it on the schedule. So again, thanks everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, Danny.
Thank you.